A lovely morning to you out there on Good Morning Anambra. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
My name is Nonya Nwokoye. We are delighted to have you join us again today for Good Morning Anambra show. Ajulu.
Yeah, the show is all about bringing you updates, what's happening. Well, then the first to start with is the newspaper review. After that, we'll definitely have our discussion segment. And then later on, we'll have the Catch the Bus, and then the sports segment before the Igbo news concludes what we have for you today. So it's a bumper harvest of entertainment, information, and then, keeping you abreast with what's happening in Nigeria.
All right, let's begin with the press review. That will be after a very short break.
Glad to have you back. And as tradition, it's always here that we say charity begins at home. Before we go into the national dailies, let us begin with news making headlines in ABS website. And the first news we have for you this Wednesday, the 5th day of February 2025, is Operation Udogachi dislodges more kidnappers, demolishes dens in Nnewi. Anambra State government vows to nab killers of 3 siblings at Nnewichi. Visits family. Anambra State government organizes capacity building program for Entrepreneurship Development Institute in Awka. Online news. Newspaper vendors in Awka decries low patronage. Legal practitioner Amambo calls for collaboration in fight against insecurity. Anambra State government states resolve towards eliminating neglected tropical diseases. INEC chairman urges CSOs to monitor party primaries, condemns delegate buying. China announces retaliatory tariffs against U.S. 2025 budget defense. Senate President Akpabio commends lawmakers. And the last but not the least, earthquakes displace thousands of residents in Greece.
A lot of stories there, a lot of stories here and there, and of course the Operation Udogachi, a lot of commendations coming from, latest coming from the FIDA, that's female lawyers, commending them on their activities so far. And according to the chairman of FIDA, she said specifically that we are now working freely in Anambra State. With the demolition yesterday and so many others still coming on. But there is something that they need to do, because after the demolition in Oba, there's this story going forth and back, whether it's, the place is used as whatever they termed it. I think at this point there is need for proper investigation before they carry out any demolition. But we say kudos to the government of Anambra State for thus far what they've done so far in security in the state. Of course, and we'll continue to say, apart from the good work that the government is doing, also the citizens have a role to play, because security is everybody's responsibility. Like they always say, if you see something, say something. And there's nobody that is out there that is trying to make this place very, inhabitable, that doesn't have a location, that doesn't have a relation, because these people are not ghosts. So if we as citizens do play our role by reporting to the appropriate authorities, those that are causing mayhem in our localities, that will be your own civic responsibility to bring in security down to your locality. So I think it's, will I say? It should be collective responsibility. Collective responsibility. So thank you so much on that. All right, INEC. Now, INEC chairman urges CSOs to monitor party primaries, condemns delegate buying. This is a special year for Anambra State. It's an election year in the state. And just like he said here, vote delegate buying. I don't know. They've started again. Let me put it that way. They've started again, making people to lose confidence in the electoral processes in this country. I think it's high time Nigeria grows up when it comes to election and all the, things involved during election. They should live up to responsibility. We should be bigger than,
of course,
than that, buying votes or whatever. Okay. Look at what China has done. And their own is higher. They said they are putting tariff. Do me, I do you. God no go first. That's what we are seeing now. U.S. first of all rose to impose tariffs on goods coming from China. Now China has reason to say that they are increasing tariffs on petroleum products coming from U.S. And they said it's 15%. You know, U.S. is doing 10%. They want to do 15%. So in this situation, it is becoming a warlike situation.
Apart from even being warlike situation, this is what we say. When Goliath fights, you understand, you know how hefty the battle is going to be. So these are two superpowers, and they have the capacity to trade blow. That is punch for punch, you know, knuckle for knuckle, and the rest of it all. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. But at the end of it all, America should watch it because they tend to lose more in this battle because you don't have the workforce of what China has. China is the production of the entire world, the global world, you understand? And America doesn't have the labor, you understand, to muzzle China in production line. So this is where I believe the president of the United States of America needs to have his, you know, cabinet members give him the best advice. Economists to know the best way to handle these things, sincerely speaking. At the end of it all, don't come up and bravado us with wanting to live up to the manifesto of what you came up with. And then it will now go to the detriment of the people that you're leading.
Again, he should take it one step at a time, you know, modeling up everything at the same time, doing this, doing that at the same time. You take it one step at a time, you do this one, and you wait and see how it goes down, then before you implement another one. It's a step at a time. It's just, you're just taking over government, and you still have 3 years plus to run the system.
It's just starting.
All right, let's run. The Daily Times newspaper is first in our lineup. Let's see stories coming from that paper. NIMET predicts early rainfall events in Nigeria. We have read there, Kayamo unveils the 2025 seasonal climate prediction. Money politics will destroy APC. That's coming from Ganduje. VP Shetima pushes for coordinated effort to boost Nigeria's economy. CBN says external reserve dropped by $1.19 billion in 3 weeks. FCTA approves major infrastructure projects. Plateau governor inaugurates 5 new commissioners. And of course, in front of the paper, we see the visit of wife of Niger State Governor Hajia Fatima Mohammed Bago, wife of former head of state, Honorable Justice Fatilami Abubakar, retired, then First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, a former head of state, General Abdusalami Abubakar, and wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shetima, during the First Lady's visit to the former head of state at his Mina residence on Tuesday, that's yesterday, 4th day of February 2025. I wonder this visit at this point in time to elder statesmen. I think they visited some other person, not just.
They visited Babangida. So if you touch Mina and you visit Abdul Salam, obviously you go and visit.
You go and visit.
You go and visit Babangida.
Okay.
You understand? So
I hope the visit is a good one.
No, the visit obviously is a good one, but you remember on Monday when we were doing the newspaper review, we talked about where the ex-leaders, specifically Babangida, was talking about the coalition, in support of the coalition. He said that coalition wouldn't be a bad idea. So now I think the presidency have sent one of their emissaries to go and tell the guys, but waiting be this way they talk about coalition. The same presidency we're talking about, people that are talking about 2027, you understand, is because they don't have a foundation to stand on as opposition.
In other
but
words,
now we are beginning to see...
in other words, they've started their background
exactly,
work,
they
started plotting their maths one after the other. Well, we are in Nigeria, all fingers
we'll
crossed.
definitely see the outcome of this.
All right.
Do you have any story you want to touch on the Daily Times?
Okay, we move on. We've seen early rainfall events in Nigeria. There was this one that fell the last time I came to Oka. The first rain, actually.
Was that rain? That was just more
no,
like...
they didn't pull down a tree in front of my house in the village. Anyway, this is just alerting Nigerians, you know, to be alert.
Well,
there's need for us to get ready, to know that something is coming. And we know normally how it happens. When it happens, some rules will be taken off. So everybody should be on the lookout for what is going to happen and do some necessary things, put in place some checks and balances to forestall any, damage that the first rain may cause. All right, let's move on now to the next paper.
And that will be the Punch newspaper. And the banner headline is saying, marketers may dump NNPCL as price war with Dangote rages. Details, dealers adopt MRS logo to access cheaper Dangote petrol, consider NNPCL franchise suspension. DR Congo soldiers, rebels clash. Death tolls hit over 900. Gunmen kidnapped 7 Ondo travelers, 27 suspects arrested. Police arraign suspended Ogumwana hunt accomplices. Death toll rises to 15 in Ebonyi community headsmen's killings. PDP secretary, that's at the mast of the Punch newspaper, Wike Camp writes Supreme Court ahead of BOT meeting. Lagos Assembly may write Tinubu over Obasa. And that's coming from the GAC members, GAC members. Government releases power tariff hike guidelines for discos. Tax reform. Reps set for fresh debates, hold closed-door sessions. Well, that's interesting. Everything here is just all about more like Nigerians to gear up to what is impending. You understand? From what's happening in the PDP and down to government releases power, tariff hike guidelines, down to the marketers may dump, seeking other response. Everything is just narrowing down. This is more like our leaders not having solution to allowing us breathe freely in this country. Where you just want to have one little respite, 3, 4 issues will just clamp you down and then keep you down there. But then on the sorry note there in Ondo State, gunmen kidnapped 7 Ondo travelers, and earlier on, at the beginning of this year, the news was telling us the influx of people from the north down to the forest in the south, west, and the rest of it all. Just when we thought we were over with that, the news we started hearing was Sharia law wanting to be implemented in southwestern Nigeria. I really don't
As
know.
if you knew what's going on in my mind. I'm just thinking, when will we ever, heave a sigh of relief from all these killings, especially the farmer headers clash, the, Boko Haram, whatever, all these killings. When will it ever stop? Can Nigeria ever heave a sigh of relief? Can Nigeria ever be free from all these things? Look at death toll rises to 15 in Ebonyi community, herdsmen killing. This thing is coming back in 2025 when we thought we have overcome them all this while. So I don't know. I think the governor of Ebonyi State was visited the scene yesterday to commiserate with people affected in the incident. But I don't know. I just pray that God will console those affected in one way or the other. All right, quickly we look at the Vanguard newspaper to see stories making the headlines in front of the Vanguard. The banner headline screams alarm as cartels target teenage girls for organ harvesting. We have riders there, outlines of the nefarious lucrative trade in Nigeria, how young girls are snared into donating eggs. International Federation of Fertility Societies rail against practice. Victims narrate ordeal. Police Bongo reported cases. NAPTIP canvasses enlightenment campaign in schools. Others. NCAA gives Kenya Airways 48 hours to apologize for passengers' maltreatment. Ihanacho faces Borough Funds rejection. FG to take over incomplete Lagos Ibadan Expressway sections by April. That's coming from Minister for Works, Umahi. FG flags off tolling on federal highways. Again, FG to roll out 7 million smart meters in 2025. El Rufai slams Governor Sani over sycophantic support for Tinubu. I never said Tinubu, Akume, Kalo were corrupt when I was EFCC chairman. That's coming from Ribadu. Lagos Assembly crisis. Bid to oust Obasa's successor hits break wall. GAC briefs Tinubu. KFG to take over. Okay, we've seen that. And that's just about it in front of the Vanguard newspapers. A lot of stories, and we can see the visit. That's the visit. The picture in front of the paper is the vice president, the president's wife, Oluremi Tinubu, visiting Babangida in Mina. That's just what we said earlier. After visiting you can't visit Abu Salam without touching down on Babangida. All right. Now, a lot of stories making their headlines. You know, the issue of the Kenya Airways staff talking to a Nigerian there. You know, that video, when the woman said he's going to make it, he said, call your president. And I don't know whether that is the one that touched them the most, but, you know, that shouldn't be. Because there's a story I read, or report I read yesterday concerning that issue, that the woman told the lady that she's bleeding, something like that. She needed somewhere to freshen up because of the delay. And the way the lady talked to him, so the lady now said that he threw pads on her. So somebody, I've forgotten the name of the guy that's trying to defend the lady in question, said that they are going to show us the footage of where the lady threw pads on you. You know, that you're going to show us. That was what made her to react the way she was reacting. Yeah. But we are yet to see the footage of where the lady threw pad on her that made her to talk the way she talked and whatever. So I don't know. This issue of people checking their mental health, you know, or controlling themselves when they are provoked. You know, when you talk, sometimes you say things you're not supposed to say, and later you regret what you have done or what you have said. And once you say something, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. You know, it's there. So I think it's important at this point in time for all of us to watch it when we get angry. How do we control ourselves? How do we compose ourselves so that we don't really talk out of the, you know, whatever we see, we come out from. Because at the point of being angry, you can say anything. You can say anything, even what you're not supposed to say. And immediately you finish, that your eye will clear. And you see that you've done what you're not supposed to do. So let's check it. It's important.
Yeah,
all right.
The banner headline on the Vanguard newspaper calls for serious concern.
Honestly.
Yeah, because, you know, I don't know what the world is turning into, and then most especially in this part of the world, where we no longer have regards for human life.
But think of it. Not just people perpetrating these acts, but these young girls, what are they thinking? When we were growing up, there are things maybe somebody will call you, you will run simply because you don't know the person. Do you understand? Now, these people will come. They don't know you. You don't know them. You will just follow them. They will go and harvest your egg or whatever they are harvesting. You know?
This is not even a case of strangers picking vulnerable or unsuspecting teenagers. This is a case of people that are close to you. You understand? Leading you to this people for such nefarious acts. But at the same time, you begin to wonder the role of parents in the way we raise our kids.
That is what I'm saying, because then there is fear. There are some things you can't just do. There are some places you can't just go.
And then the world is a global village now with this ICT and then, you know, mobile phones
social
everywhere.
Media.
So there are a whole lot of things that are influencing these youngsters. And they have easy ways they feel they can make money. But most times it doesn't actually pay, because I really don't understand. The word, that cartel there, that means this is an intricate network where things like this do work out. And imagine saying that teenage, you know, organs are more juicy in the market. So
now, giving birth is no longer, you know, there was this story then where people organize, they have homes, they bring young girls, they come, people impregnate them, they give birth, they sell the babies. Yes, something like that. That one is no longer, you know, booming, or is no longer going well with them. They now resorted to now harvesting, and they are going to open the person up.
To get the eggs.
To get the eggs. It's not laser. It's not laser, so you just be there. Wow. Maybe they will drug you because of the pains. You know, like somebody going through cesarean operation. This is a no-no. And our young girls should learn from this. I'm glad that some people are coming out to say that they need to go for enlightenment campaign in schools. This is what NAPTIP had been known for. Yeah. NAPTIP, I think the person that formed NAPTIP is Abacha's wife?
No, Atiku.
Okay, Atiku's wife, yes. Atiku's wife formed it. Now, they are going to schools to enlighten our schools. But parents, there's a lot of job for parents to do here. You know, taking care of your children, talking to them, you know, teaching them what they ought to know so that they don't fall victim of this organ harvesting. All right.
Next paper for review this morning is the Daily Independent, and the banner headline screaming at us is agriculture. Tinubu has taken us back to what we know how best to do. That's coming from Ododo, the Kogi State Governor. And the writer there says, dedicate independent award to Kogi people. A state has spent over 9 billion in agriculture. That's coming from Fanwo. Economic reforms working 2025 is to consolidate on all programs, says Minister. Delegates buying INEC calls for CSOs oversight in party primaries. Motorists to pay maximum of 1,600 as federal government commences toll collection on Abuja Makodi Road. 1,600. That's interesting. CDS advocates non-kinetic approach.
Others to be commissioned soon in 6 geopolitical zones.
Yeah. CDS advocates non-kinetic approach in achieving 2.5 million barrels per day crude production targets. And then we have Mba ends multiple taxations, signed into law bill to create one-stop shop for taxation. Federal government to raise 758 billion naira bond to clear backlog of pensions liabilities. Approved 30 million euro concessional financing from FDA. That's really, really interesting. Tinubu has taken us back. Tinubu approves reconstruction of Alau Dam in Borno State at 80 billion naira. Declines assets in Federal University of Education, Newman Bill. Senate moves against IGP, FIRS, NNPCL, CBN orders may issue arrest warrants.
You know, I'm really interested in this issue of INEC calling on civil societies for oversight in party primaries. I know I've attended some CSOs meetings, you know, each time there will be election, you know, they organize meetings here and there. They organize so many meetings, and people, even the media comes around for enlightenment on what they're about to do. And all these CSOs, it's not today. that they started. All the elections that has happened in Nigeria, CSOs are involved, you know, and they make their reports. What do they use those reports to do? Yes. What have they used the reports to do, the ones they did before? Now they are calling them now to, you know, do their oversight against vote buying. CSOs have been speaking, but are Nigerians ever doing something? Have they ever done something to curtail the level of vote buying that we see? Even the ones that we see on videos, the ones that happened in Osun State during that election, we saw the video. It's everywhere. You know, you can even call it up today. So what have they done over the years to see that the electoral process in Nigeria is okay, and that they, you know, and that they begin to rebuild the confidence of Nigerians in the electoral processes?
Well, it's going to be a very, very difficult one, because while you're talking about the CSO and then kicking against vote buying, what about the reorientation of Nigerians towards being responsible to duties? Sincerely speaking, so it's something that really needs to go down. It's not just all about coming out and telling us that CSOs are this, CSOs are that. The INEC, the organization that conducts this election, the independents attached to their name, how independent are they in dishing out this, you know, information and the rest of it all? So it's more like you don't give what you don't have, you understand? Because INEC needs to put their house in order, you understand? And then have political parties, you know, punish them for falling out of line. We've had cases where people that didn't even go through primaries are the one being the flag bearers, and yet INEC still went ahead to have their names on ballot papers and election were done, even while some of the cases were still in court. So you need to have these things all ratified before you can now come up and say, these are the way you want to conduct elections. Sincerely speaking, in order for us to get it done, especially starting with INEC, we need to do the cleaning from the top. Let it trickle down to the bottom.
All right. Now, this issue of toll gate, you know, they've said it before, and it's like Nigerians reacted and they mellowed down on it a bit. Now it's already established in Abuja Makurdi Road, and they are going to establish in other areas. Maximum of 1,600. Now, I don't know. In this country, people are crying that they are doing increase in electricity tariff, increase in telecom tariff, increase in prices of foods and goods and services, the food we eat, the petrol we use, and all whatnot. So things are going higher. And on that, you're now bringing back the tolls scraped long ago. What was the reason the toll gates were removed when it was removed? And why are they now bringing it back?
I think the toll gates were removed under Obasanjo because of lack of accountability. Yeah, the money...
So this one will be accountable. That's
so the money were not going to the right quarters. You still see federal government struggle, you understand, to maintain those roads where they are where they are tolls mounted. But on the other side, there are benefits for mounting toll. It helps in checkmating crime, you understand, because if a crime has been perpetrated, you know the routes where the criminals are followed, and then you can radio, you can message, saying such, a vehicle, you know, bearing this make and the rest of it all is approaching. Please do a routine check and the rest of it all. And it builds economy, you understand, around those areas where you have toll, because businesses tend to boom around those areas where they are told, you understand? And when business boom, it becomes something like an activity, economic activity for the residents and then the areas of it all. But my question is, 1,600, because now for you to get there, 1,600 is not a denomination in Nigerian currency. Toll fare would have been easy where you get there. The Nigerian currency are 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, 50 naira, and the rest down to 1,000 naira. So now, do you mean that when I get to toll, I will now give you 2,000 and you change 400 naira, thereby creating a backlog of vehicles behind? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or you will search for change? You know, by analysis change, so they should, you know, check the whole thing, and then one thing I've discovered in this country that when government want to actually do something, they just damn the consequence and just, you know, throw it around, and then whatever thing you guys want to do is left to you.
Maybe this present administration is more accountable. You know, they are going to tell us how much they collect.
When they've already, yesterday we read about 4.3 trillion earmarked for the Abuja, I mean for the, what is it called? Calabar, Lagos
Road,
Coastal Highway, and some other road projects. Now, if you set a toll, that means those areas where that roads are, I mean those tolls are, obviously have money budgeted for the maintenance and probably building of other structures that has to aid the road and the rest of it all. You know, maybe pedestrian bridges and the rest of it all. But the issue of accountability will still be, is it going to be a ticketing kind of a thing, whereby you don't need to give cash? Maybe you buy a ticket, you just
show them,
you just flash it around a sensor, and then the gate opens for you, you go. Is there going to be cameras to count the number of cars,
that,
you understand,
that
paid? And then at the end of it all, you go and check and know how much you have actually collected. The 1,600 naira, is it for the big vehicles? Is it for the biggest, that is the trucks? Or is it for bicycle and for what is it called? Pedestrians. So these are what we need to figure out. Okay,
because also no maximum of 1,600 naira. We couple on the trailer gana 1,006. Ma ndeka gana kuego ne na ego ne. But whatever happens, because amalo na Nigerians are really suffering. You know, the hardship is biting harder. Iwotakwa another ihisi keto kwa sanenu nkana agabiga. It's something again ebalanya or fuma biko. All right, we move on now to the Guardian newspaper. Imana isuluziyo iboga bachezona tabo. The Guardian newspaper, the story is making their headlines in front of the Guardian. FG NAD CMDs, others bicker over state of health sector good rating. For oil firms, post 386 billion naira profits amid uncertainties, security concerns. PFN declares national rebirth, vows to expose corrupt leaders. World Cancer Day, FG to explore health insurance for cancer. First Lady donates 100 million naira to Niger tanker explosion victims. Visits IBB Abdusalami. A Senate threatens to arrest IGP, Customs, CG, FIRS, and NPCL, CBN heads over audit snub. APC moves indirect primary ahead of Anambra gubernatorial poll. And GAC meeting ends in deadlock as parties disagree on Obasa's fate. EFCC arraigns 2 Chinese for alleged cyber fraud, others. And of course, Mo Abudu showcases Nigeria's creative economy with Niger Creates in London. Okay, that's the much we have coming from the Guardian. We take the Daily Trust immediately.
And the Ubasani El Rufai differ over Tinubu. Northern states to experience delayed rainfall. That's coming from Kiyamo. A motorist to pay 500, 1,600 toll fee on Abuja Makurdi Highway. Gunmen abduct 10 passengers in Ondo. 165 illegal immigrants arrested in Kebbi. Teacher dismissed for impregnating student in Ekiti. KEDC confirms, KEDCO confirms sack of 450 workers. Rep summons FCT director over land racketeering. And that's the much we have here on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune, IFEC approves 758 billion naira to clear pension liabilities. Okay, is a 30 million euro concessional loan to support students' housing project. 80 billion naira for reconstruction expansion of Alau Dam in Borno. 126 billion naira for MRI, CT scanners at OAU, others. FG says US-UK patients now seek medical care in Nigeria. Obership crisis, Adeleke only followed process met on ground. That's coming from Osun government. Nigeria to experience severe dry spell of over 27 to 40 days in some areas, coming from the federal government. Use criticism against Nigeria to prioritize development, Obi. 29 states remove speakers in 26 years. All right, other stories there says brain drain, Nigerian doctors earn less than cleaners abroad. That's coming from Afe Babalola. Police arraigned suspended Ogun traditional ruler over assault threat to life. Gunmen attack boss. Okay, we've seen that before. All right, these are some of the stories, and of course our time is fast spent here, but I don't know, teacher that impregnated a student. No, you know, a child that was brought to you to nurture, to becoming a responsible citizen of this nation. What you saw is just to teach the child the other way. It is well. At this point, Ajulo,
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and let's move to the other side where the discussion segment of what we're doing this morning is still ongoing. I still remain at Julie Chukwuokabwe. Many thanks for joining us.
All right, you can pick the papers from a newspaper stand to see more details of the stories we read out for you this morning. My name is Nonya Nwokoye. Do sit back for more on Good Morning Anambra Show. Hey.